So I deactivated both my Twitter accounts, like in the last like couple weeks or whatever. You know, and I kind of wanted to go into why. I mean, the short answer is that like Twitter fucking sucks and everybody knows that. But like the long answer is I'm just gonna tell you why it sucks. So Twitter is like, I use it for years, but it never made me feel satisfied. I mean, I honestly don't like social media like that in general. I only keep Instagram because I sometimes like to get news out there or whatever, but I don't really know if I want any social media like that. At least like the type of media where you're just scrolling through shit. Because a lot of the time you just end up like scrolling for the next dopamine rush, and a lot of it isn't very substantial. Like stuff you get off there is not really going to make you think very often. It's not really going to make you excited very often. It's not really going to change much very often. It's going to be like basically like slop. I think social media in general is mostly slop, and I think it's almost intended just for slop. And a lot of people are just eating that shit up because it's much easier to get like the minute by minute dopamine rush and actually do something that takes effort, like start a project, draw something, make something, watch something, even just watch a YouTube video that's like, some video essay or something even like a fucking video essay about like Deltarune or something is like more substantial than anything you're going to get out of Twitter or any of those apps. But Twitter especially is bad because of the bots and because everybody on there is also just like super like I guess like in their own fucking like in their own asses. I mean, maybe every social media has this to an extent, but it's really bad on Twitter, and I'm not exactly sure why. I just know it's there. And basically, everybody on Twitter will argue about fucking anything. They will literally argue about fucking anything. It doesn't matter what it is. I have seen people on there get into fucking arguments over like headcanons in like fucking object shows. Like because I've followed some people who are like involved in like object show space or whatever. So like there'd be like fucking BFDI fans, probably like 14 years old, who are like, you're fucking goddamn like headcanon. Like somebody would be like fuck, like I headcanon this BFDI character is transgender, and somebody would be like, you can't do that, they're not actually. Who gives a fuck, man? Let them just do that. Why can't people just assume, like, why can't somebody just think Needle BFDI is trans? Why not? Why not? I don't give a fuck, man. Do whatever you want. It's like it's a fucking character show. Like it's a fucking YouTube show. It's like, dude, you don't have to fucking care. But people do care. And I mean, honestly, that's less so. That I've seen that less though than I have seen people arguing about like analysis of media and stuff. Like somebody will be like, "Oh, I think that Jax from Digital Circus is actually this or whatever." And it's like and somebody else is like, "He's not that. He's actually this," and you're a fucking idiot for thinking that he's that. It's like, dude, like, how do you fucking know, man? Like, what if like they just like interpreted it differently, man? Like sometimes that shit isn't even like clear cut anyway. Sometimes there isn't even an objective answer to that type of shit, like in media analysis and stuff like that. Who fucking cares, man? Somebody's like, Jack's Digital Circuits has this mental illness. I think he doesn't. Okay, fine. I mean, I guess you want to have discussions about it, but like, why like argue about it and like get upset about it even? Like who gives a shit, right? I mean, like, am I losing something here? Like, who cares? And I mean, it gets even worse when you go into politics. I mean, like those. I've only seen like a few examples of those types of things, but like politics is like you can't fucking say anything. You can't say anything. You say fucking anything that you believe, and everybody's like, you're a fucking moron. That you're like, you should be fucking shot dead. And I mean, like, honestly, I think some people. I mean, like, I've had that reaction to people before, but I mean, like, it's usually like for people that don't even seem to say anything that crazy, or like people that are clearly good faith just might disagree with you. Some people have that opinion about politicians who are clearly bad faith and clearly doing it for fucking money. And yeah, fine, I don't give a shit, right? I mean, like, you think that guy, fuck that guy. He's clearly not. But there are plenty of people on Twitter are trying to be good faith in like political discussions, and they just disagree with you or they have this view. And even if I mean, there's a lot of people I've seen who might be like, less left wing than I am or whatever. But usually I'm able to understand why. It's not like I don't hate them for it, or even if I think they're wrong about something, or like they say something about capitalism that I don't agree with. Like, I'm like, I actually think socialism is better for this reason. It's like, man, they're not saying that, I don't think, because they're like an evil piece of shit, right? And like, or even because they're stupid. They could just be misguided, or even I could be wrong, right? Like, there's no reason to hate anybody for shit like that. Of course, there are limits, right? You could have somebody just like, I think all trans people should go to the gas chamber, or like, we should kill all the Palestinians. Like, okay, dude, like, fuck you then, right? But like, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people that are just actually like these seemingly reasonable guys who are just like, slightly, or even like, like even like super slightly disagreeing with you on something. It's like, man, like, you can talk about that shit and like argue about that shit and talk about the merits of arguments or whatever, but nobody on Twitter does that. They just say this guy fucking sucks. He's a fucking Hitler, Nazi, giga, anti-Semite, racist or whatever. Or this guy's like, I don't fucking know. This guy's like a bootlicker, or this guy's like, I don't know, like whatever. Like this guy's a piece of shit who should be fucking shot dead. And it's like just a Twitter guy just saying something. I mean, like, there's plenty of like ideologies that I personally think are stupid. Like, for example, I think libertarianism is a very stupid ideology, and I do not understand why people believe in it. But I do see people believe in it, and I don't fucking hate those people. I'm not like I want those people to be killed, or I don't go to their replies to insult them. Like, cause like, what's the fucking point? What's the point of doing that? That's just like, it's like, it's so ridiculous. And I think a lot of people do it because they just don't see others on social media as human. Like, they just see them as like, almost like, just like faceless usernames that just like say things they don't like. And so they can say whatever they want to them. And I mean, people have made this point before. I'm obviously not the first person to make this fucking point. That people like are more willing to be insulting or mean or, yeah, or rude or just like awful in general on social media to other people because they don't feel that connection to them as humans. Which of course goes back to, again, the first video I recorded for this channel. But yeah, I mean, like that is kind of just what it seems like. It's just like people who are just willing to like let their worst fucking impulses go and just like not let themselves give any kind of like benefit of the doubt to anybody. Like not just assume, even if you think a belief is awful. And like obviously, again, I think that like and actually, this is actually like something that I do find kind of like maybe I don't know, maybe people would think this is like a hot take. Like I did say earlier, like oh, I don't really care as much if somebody's saying like, oh, I'm like a transphobe or I hate black people. If you like go and insult that person or tell them to fuck off, I think that's fine. But at least for me, maybe I'd like be willing to insult them more than just somebody who like seems more reasonable and like just like level-headed. But I don't hate those people. I hate what they stand for and I hate what they do. But at least not all of them. I mean, there are some of them that are clearly just like, I just want to kill people. or somebody like fucking Charlie Kirk or something who's just like I hate black people for money. It's like, okay, dude, like fuck you then, yeah. But like some people, and even people who hate trans people, who hate black people, who like hate Palestinians, or who have all these things that I really fucking like despise. I don't think all those people are irredeemable or like just like I don't hate them. I mean, like sometimes in the moments I might feel like I do, but I don't really. Because I think that, when you realize that everybody's a person, you kind of realize that, I mean, any of us could change. I mean, we could all, and I mean, also, any of us could have been born in the circumstances where we're just constantly bombarded with bullshit about how, like, Israel needs to kill everybody or whatever. Or, black people actually do all the crime because of this or whatever. Or, like, lies about stuff like that. If you're, like, bombarded with that shit, you can end up getting into that shit, even if you're, like, a relatively good person. And I mean, there are people who have been like that and then stopped believing in those kinds of things and came around. And I mean, those people should be like, at least given some respect. I mean, I don't think anybody has to like them. You don't have to be friends with them or whatever, or like be a fan because of their past. I think it's okay to dislike people because of their past, even if they've changed. But, you should at least not hate them. But you also, like, in general, just don't hate people like that. Again, unless you feel like there's a good reason for it. And there are sometimes good reasons for it. Again, if somebody like raped somebody or like did something fucking crazy like that, then yeah, I don't think you have like any fucking obligation to like give them fucking, give them any kind of credence or, benefit of the doubt. But like, when it comes to like these kinds of arguments on Twitter and like, political beliefs especially, but even beliefs about other shit, just anything in general, just see other people as people. Remember that there's people there and that those people can change. They can be wrong. They can be, just anything like that, but they don't have to be evil. They don't have to be insulted all the time. They don't have to be degraded all the time because of something that they believe. I mean, everybody could come around on that. And what everybody should be trying to do is convince those people to come around on it. I mean, again, I don't think there's as much, obviously, about people who hate black people. Because, like, a lot of those kinds of, like, racist motherfuckers, they just seem like a lot of them just really want to hate something. But, I mean, even with those people, you should at least try to convince them. And when they inevitably, which for at least me, it was inevitable, because all the dudes I ever argued with would basically just be like, nah, fuck you, you're like, you just love the blacks or whatever the fuck, you're evil or whatever. Well, then just stop engaging then. You tried, then just stop engaging with them. Don't like tell them off or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're not like, if you're not going to change their mind, then don't try, and don't keep trying. Don't argue with them. Don't insult them. But especially don't do that if there's someone that is more redeemable seeming. That isn't somebody that's just like, dismissing you because they just seem to really want to like hate some group of people for some reason. Like, if like for people that seem more reasonable, don't just like do that to them. Definitely don't. Like, try to convince them, but if they aren't convinced, then just hope that they'll be convinced by somebody else later. Don't just like keep going into their replies and tell them that they're fucking pieces of shit or whatever. Again, unless they did something like actually really awful, then you can. It is fine. I just don't think it's productive. It's just not productive. And I think that people would learn a lot by just deleting Twitter. I mean, maybe if there's one day where this shit can become normalized, maybe I'd go back, but I don't think it's going to. At least until something significantly changes, and that's why I made that first video about showing your face and being open with people about your humanity. I think unless something like that is implemented, this will never change, and so that's why I deleted it. It's not. I never want to be back down there again, as long as people refuse to recognize the humanity of the other and just see them as punching bags for their political ideology or for their, belief in what mental illness Jax from Digital Circus has. Whatever it is. Delete your Twitter now. Get off that shit forever. You can find your fan art somewhere else, I'm sure. Go on I don't know, fucking Pinterest or something, dude. Like something, just like, I don't fucking know, just anywhere but Twitter, dude. Or like if you are gonna use Twitter, like fucking mute every word. Just like go into the muted words and just type every political word you can think of. Donald Trump, especially mute Donald Trump immediately. Mute like Israel immediately. Mute all that shit. Get your political beliefs from actually reading or even just watching really good YouTube videos, which there are some very good ones. And just do your fucking research in an actual decent way, and don't call reading Twitter posts from angry losers research. And don't get fucking stupid arguments with people. Just like recognize everybody's humanity and just fucking do shit that way, and you'll never want to use Twitter again, okay?